There we go. Great.
Fantastic. Well, hello everyone, and to everyone at home that will be watching later. My name is Matt. I'm an account manager here with Fit for Travel. So I'm helping Rachel here with a lot of the just logistics of the kind of tourism part of this trip. And Rachel, as you know, will be our lovely yoga teacher while you guys are there, making sure everything goes smoothly and building in all the classes that we'll be having on the itinerary. So really, with this call, I'm going to go through the high level, talk about the itinerary, the sign up process, all the things that we offer, and then also be pausing for questions. So right now, how do I do this? I'm trying to figure out Zoom. In one moment. There we go. I'm on Rachel's website right now. So I'm going to share the link in the chat, considering I can get to the chat. Looks like I might need to stop sharing my screen for a second. Give me one moment.
I can put it in chat. Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, there we go. Boom. Do it like that. Anyone wants to follow along with what I'm looking at, it'll just be right there. And this will be really kind of the one-stop shop for any information in writing and things like that. And then I'll talk about, all the team and everything that we have that will be able to support you if I have any other questions. So when you get to the homepage here, right, it's going to show you just this lovely, amazing pictures of Machu Picchu in Peru, and then kind of give you, the little bit about Rachel and everything there. So when you click on the Learn More, which is going to be the focus of most of this trip, or this, this presentation is going to show you all the details of the trip that you need. So we have the date right here, going from the 5th to the 11th, pricing based on double occupancy, on single occupancy, and right now we're doing an early bird until the 14th of February. So we have some time to save a bit of money if people, getting excited. And I'll talk a lot about the sign up process a little bit more towards the end there. Right now, I'm just going to focus on this overview here and then go into the itinerary. So at this point here is going to be where you kind of get the grasp of everything that's included. And then the itinerary is going to be the day-by-day breakdown of what we're going to be doing. So really just to start with the hotels, you'll be staying at the Hotel Aranha, both in the Sacred Valley and in Cusco. One of the incredible things about this itinerary, this trip, is that we get you into Cusco, take you pretty deep into further away into Peru, and then work our way back. This is, good for logistically getting you closer to the airport when you're leaving, and also in the case of altitude. So we're going to be going to the Sacred Valley to begin with. Sacred Valley, it is in a valley in a higher altitude area. So we'll be able to acclimate a little bit on the first few days of the trip before we get over to Machu Picchu, obviously a bit higher, and then on our way to Cusco as well. So there will be a highlight of all the included meals here. You'll have 6 breakfasts. There'll be 4 lunches included and 2 dinners. And you can see a high overview of the activities that I'll be talking about in the itinerary when I switch over. Other services that we are able to provide. So we'll be having transfers from the airport in air-conditioned vehicles, transportation privately for all of our excursions. And the one thing I just love to highlight the most, it really, really helps people just connect with Peru in general, or with just the destination, is you'll have at least a bilingual, maybe even more lingual tour guide that'll be speaking English and Spanish while you're there. And this is just, an amazing experience to have with someone that's local, wants to show you their culture, connect you with everything that they're doing. And so you'll have someone that'll be every step of the way, getting you on the train to Machu Picchu, getting you on the transfers, everything like that, that can really kind of help you all, kick back, relax, and enjoy, but still connect with the culture and the people that are there. And then, yes, we'll be covering the train service, the entrance fees, all of that is included in the price at the top. The things that really aren't included, tips for any porters, guides, anything that's not mentioned, whether, the dinners that are not included, any personal expenses you want, and then the airfare. Airfare is not included in this price. That would just be a separate booking. And then in terms of hotel check-in and check-out, we can request this for you. It's really just about availability for the hotels. And then, travel insurance is the one last thing that is not included, something that I do now highly recommend for anybody. I'll get into our travel concierge service and everything they can provide at the end here. But the travel insurance really can put your mind at ease for a variety of reasons. We now live in a COVID world. You never know what could happen. And insuring your trip is definitely one of the best ways of making sure that you have peace of mind kind of moving forward with the trip. And then the last thing to just note is that your international flights will arrive and depart from Cusco International Airport. So when you're looking at flights, you're looking at the Cusco International Airport, most likely from, whether it's SFO or from Oakland or whatever airport, is easiest for you. Before I continue, I'm just going to pause there. Are there any questions about the high level of things that are included before I talk about the services and kind of itinerary that we're going to go through? Totally fine if you want to wait till the end or anything like that. So feel free to put a hand up or jump in. I'm happy to answer any questions. So I'm going to scroll back up to the top. We're going to go to the itinerary in just a second, but I just want to pause to let you all know. You'll see this phone number at the top here. This is a phone number that says for reservations. This is for any help that you could need in booking or any questions you could have, from something as small as, does the hotel have a hairdryer, to something, what is the best way to book my flight? This is the direct line for our travel concierge service. I'll also be sending, a follow-up email with Rachel. She can share with you all. We have their email, care@IamFitForTravel, and then this phone number. And they really are able to assist you with any questions you might have of any details about the trip throughout the entire process, from whether you're considering booking to once you book and sign up, anything that really can go along. And when we get closer to the date of going, they'll be sending out bar and restaurant recommendations. They'll be sending out a packing list, what to expect for weather coming up, really everything that's encompassed, you'll need to know before you get there. So switching over to the itinerary here, like I said, you'll be arriving and then going to the Sacred Valley. So basically getting into the airport, you'll have someone standing there with a Fit for Travel side. If you're on the group transfer, getting on the group transfer, and then we'll take you to the Sacred Valley, get everybody settled, probably have, a welcome circle or a greeting class before we do the welcome dinner. And then there'll be dinner provided on the first night. Everyone can get settled there. On the second day, you're going to really explore the valley. You'll wake up, there'll be a morning session of yoga, there'll be breakfast that's served at the hotel, and then you'll start by going and visiting Moray, a community that's over there. There's an amphitheater, really seeing, you can see in this photo here, a lot of the ancient ruins, learning about Incan life and indigenous life that has lived there previously. And this day is just packed with historical knowledge, as well as a food market that you'll be stopping by at the Pisac Market. It's one of the most famous in the Cusco region and is a bit difficult to get to when you're just staying in Cusco or trying to do it on your own. And this has a place for souvenirs, for Indian instruments, ceramics. You'll be able to see alpaca products, and just a lot of souvenirs and things you can take home on that day. So it'll be a lengthier day on day 2, where you're really exploring a lot of the Sacred Valley. You'll have breakfast included, you'll have lunch at a local restaurant included, and then you'll come back to the hotel evening at leisure, able to do dinner on your own. And so that'll be kind of the second day, really getting to know the Sacred Valley. On day 3, we'll have a Peruvian cooking class. One of the highlights of any place is just a culinary experience. And Peru is no different. So you'll be, get up, have a leisurely breakfast, a yoga class in the morning. You'll be in just stunning backdrops similar to my background. You'll see here just mountains around you and just really serene and peaceful, able to kind of set up and start your day. This culinary experience is also an outside open air kind of cooking experience. The chef will be able to walk you through everything that you're doing. You'll be able to make your own food with some guidance, and be able to eat the lunch that you're having there before you get back to the hotel. And at the hotel, really, the afternoon will be your own. So you'll be able to explore, relax if you want to, read a book, but nothing too jam-packed on the third day. And then on day 4, we'll be heading to a lake with just spectacular scenery that's over there. A similar start to the day, where we're waking up, we're doing yoga, getting our body ready to go, having breakfast, and then getting into the transfer to go sightseeing on the lake there. You'll learn about kind of the paddle technique on the land, and then you'll enjoy the beauty of the lake for about hour and a half, paddleboarding, kayaking around these lake shores. Again, the photos, they speak better than I can. You can see how serene that kind of water is. You'll be able to see wildlife, birds, everything that's around. And again, you're in this kind of valley area that you're going over, so you'll just have this encompassing mountain view around where you are. And as you're kind of exploring this area, they'll then, show you this experience, which is a unique cooking method of theirs that they've been doing for thousands of years, called panchamanca. So panchamanca is a Peruvian dish for cooking, based on cooking food with the help of hot stones. So for a long time, they were heating stones as the source of how they basically almost use a frying pan. So that was kind of their way of starting and what they've done, and it's really created a culture that they hold dear and food that they hold dear. So you'll wait about 45 minutes to kind of you'll basically have it go on the rocks. Each traveler gives an explanation of the tradition. You bury the food, and then it is appointed. It is kind of blessed in their ceremony, and then in about 45 minutes, it's ready to be eaten. It's kind of dug up. And like I said, with the local guides there, with the local people, they'll be able to kind of teach you all about this technique. Really a good connecting and cultural experience that you'll have before you get back to the hotel in the afternoon, and have some time to relax. So this will be, in a morning day, going out, exploring nature, and then coming back to the hotel for relaxation. So day 5, I mean, the most name brand, area that people will be going to is really, Machu Picchu. Again, whether you're going on your own, you're going to be usually booking a tour through someone to get there. It is definitely not a place, that is easily accessible on your own. So for us, we'll be handling every step of this logistical journey for you. It's an early start on this day to make sure that we get on the train, make sure everything is going smoothly. You'll have guides with you that'll be able to help you navigate. You'll really just be showing up, making sure you're on time and going with the group. And you'll get to Machu Picchu. You'll have basically the whole day with the guide exploring, explaining everything to you. Even on the train ride, the guide will be letting you know what to expect, what we're doing, and you'll be able to explore Machu Picchu for pretty much the entirety of the day. And this is also the transfer day. So as I said at the beginning, we've started a little bit further, deeper into Peru and the Sacred Valley, acclimated to the climate there, to the elevation there. And now we're working our way back to Cusco with this stop at Machu Picchu. So we'll be doing Machu Picchu all throughout the day before we make our way back to Cusco. Another just beautiful thing about this itinerary is you're going to have all of the nature at the beginning, really be out there and kind of in just a gorgeous setting, and then coming back to a little bit of a larger city, having a little bit more city time towards the end of the tour, and being very close to the airport when we're about to be departing. So I could talk about Machu Picchu for a long time. I'm sure you guys have heard of it before, but yes, it's one of the Peruvian historical sanctuaries since 1981 and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And there's been, even limits to tourism as they try to maintain it as it has. So we're very lucky to be working with our partners in Peru that still have access to a lot of the places in Machu Picchu that, new tourism companies are getting denied access for as they try to preserve this as best they can. So this day is really going to be exploring Machu Picchu, getting you back to Cusco, where you'll be able to then relax at the hotel in the evening, have dinner on your own, and then get started the next day in Cusco. So day 6 is really going to be the tour of the city. You can see a little picture of it here with the rooftops, this mountain ranges that all encompass it. You'll have, again, breakfast in the morning overlooking the city. There'll be a yoga class for you to do, and then we'll start with about a half-day walking tour. Guide will take you to the main square, be able to show you around where the ancient Incas used to live, what their ancient city looked like, what modern Cusco looks like, and be able to help answer any questions, again, connecting you with Peruvian culture there now, and also what it was like in the past, thousands and thousands of years ago. Breakfast will be included at the hotel, and you'll have time to explore some on your own for lunch on your own, lunch at leisure, as much as you'd like to explore. And then we'll be doing a dinner at a local restaurant there, which will be kind of the last kind of tie together of the group, and kind of bring that all together at the end. And then with day 7 is really going to be our departure day from Cusco. We are rather close to the airport at this point, so we'll be organizing, as we see your flight information and organizing the transfer times, we'll find out what the best time to getting everybody to the airport is. But it'll be very easy getting, from Cusco to, from the hotel to the Cusco airport and getting you all back home. So I went through a lot of the itinerary there, all of it, obviously. I'm going to pause there for questions before I go into anything else. Anything that people want to bring up right now? Any concerns or questions? Totally fine.
I'll just
Yeah.
share what you were telling me before, Matt,
Yeah.
how Fit for Travel is also happy to help people, like if they want to add a couple days at the beginning or the end, or even another week, that they could, have assistance with booking their flights or recommendations for different hotels if you want to, take an extra couple of days while you're there.
Yeah, we can definitely help with flight recommendations, point you in the right direction for any neighborhood if you want to stay in a certain place. 1 second, Stephanie, I'll get to you. But for anything, if you were trying to get to Sacred Valley early, you wanted to be at that hotel early, the same one you're staying at, and stay in the same room. We are able to arrange that for a few nights beforehand, and then also any post nights in Cusco if you wanted to stay at the same hotel. That's something that we can arrange directly with the hotel. Otherwise, obviously, we can give recommendations of areas that are good to stay in, help you with any sort of flight questions. But if you specifically want to stay with the hotels that we're going to be at, the Hotel Arwanias, we can help with extra bookings for extra days. Stephanie, please.
Thank you, Matt. I just had a question about the general price of the flight, and also if we're able to do like payment plans, like installments.
Definitely can. I'll get to payment plans on my next section when we're talking about booking, and that's definitely an availability for the price of the trip. In terms of the air flights themselves, that would be through the airline that you're booking, right? If they're able to do any sort of payment plan that way. And then in terms of, I'm was looking at an SFO previously, which is always good. Let me give you a quote for what it's looking like for Oakland and about the time that you're going. So yes, just geographically, you'll be basically flying across most of the United States, kind of west to east, and then heading south down towards South America. So if we're doing, let's say, to this,
I'll share that things were there was nothing out of Oakland, so you have to go to SFO. And then there was at least one transfer, usually in Lima. And depending on how long you wanted to kind of wait, if you didn't mind like a long layover and whatnot, you could get them for as little as like 600 to 700. And then the more direct, maybe just quicker flights were in their like $800 to $900 range. This was when I looked a week or two ago.
Yep, that's what's showing me as well. Around $800 for the kind of the shortest layovers. One thing I would mention is that if you're connecting through Lima, which is a common place to connect, an overnight layover. If an overnight layover doesn't scare you, it's not a very expensive city to book a hotel in. Make sure that you get in, have one night in Lima before you go to Cusco. Just make sure you're aware of the dates. Make sure that you're booking that, the night before, so that you can make sure you're arriving in Cusco for the day of the transfer. So that's an option as well. Most flights will be connecting through Lima. There might be some that are coming through Bogota or somewhere in other parts of Latin America. But yeah, the cheapest ones I'm seeing really are going to be 600, and the most expensive right now are around 1,000. So it'll probably just be in that range there. And then we just recommend, we'll let you know when the trip is confirmed, good to go and running, and we'll be sending out our timing recommendations about tentative transfer times. So just hold off on booking your flights until we make sure. We'll send out an email when we're ready to go, letting you all know, and then connecting you with the best routes and best ways of getting there. Any other questions right now, or I'm going to talk about payments
Amy
too?
popped one in the chat and she says,
Okay.
and mind you, this is from a woman who's woken up at 5 a.m. for the last 20 plus years. She says, what is early for the Machu Picchu day?
That is a great question. It is, I cannot give you an exact time just because it's going to be based off train schedules that we get in the future. I have seen everything from 5 a.m. departure to about 7 a.m. departure. I would say it's better to plan for the 5 a.m. This is to get us to the train so that we can make sure we're at Machu Picchu. Obviously, you can rest on the train, on the transfer while we're getting over to where we need to go. But yes, it will definitely be an early start on that day.
So we
5
might
a.m.
not
is the
do a
earliest
yoga.
I've seen.
We might
Yeah.
not do a yoga class, but do you know off the top of your head, will they have food for us? Because we wouldn't want to get on a big journey without breakfast.
Yes, there'll be breakfast in the
Okay.
morning, definitely before you go. It's either going to be if we're departing, let's say at 7, the restaurant opens at about 5:30 or 6. The breakfast, you'll be able to have time to do breakfast. If we're leaving at 5 before it goes, we'll make sure there's a box breakfast available, so people can take that with them when you're departing. Definitely want to be fed before you're going to be hiking around. That's the
Right.
that'll definitely be included for us when we're getting you guys over there.
Cool.
Anything else in the chat right now?
That is all I see.
Awesome. So yes, going to Stephanie's second question about payment plans and just how that all kind of works. So at the top of the website, on pretty much all the pages, this beautiful picture, I got our smiling alpaca right there. He looks good with his earrings. You'll see the Book Now button. The Book Now button takes you right to the booking page, shows you the pricing. You have the early bird, you have the standard booking. Right now, we're still qualifying for early bird, so I would recommend that before it sells out before February 14th. And then the payment options. So there'll be 3 payments as the generic plan that we have set up. When you sign up, there'll be a $500 non-refundable deposit that you pay to hold your place. From there, there'll be 2 more installments of paying, which will basically just be half the price of the trip minus the $500 that you've already paid. If you need a little bit more of a payment plan, want to break it up into more sections, that's no problem at all. Our travel concierge will be able to sort that out for you, make sure that the installments are good with your timeline. And really the only thing to mention here is that for double occupancy bookings, it is one room would be able to hold 2 people. So if you and your husband were coming, or you and a friend that you knew were rooming together, you would be booking 2 people as a double occupancy, and then you'll see there's a roommate line. You'll say, I'm rooming with this person, and it'll ask you, do you want 1 bed in room, 2 beds in room, things of that nature. You are welcome to sign up for a double occupancy room without a roommate, which means you're open to somebody else that we find that could book. And if we find somebody else, perfect, we'll get you in that room. But at the end, 6 months before, which is when we were solidifying the trip, if we're unable to find a roommate, it basically would be going and looking at either a single supplement to be in that single room, or finding another friend that you could bring with you. This is another point where I like to just bring up travel insurance. That deposit is a non-refundable deposit, but if you are able to purchase travel insurance to insure your trip, this would be covered in that in case of a broken leg or any sort of thing that is covered under the insurance policy. Our travel concierge service will be able to point you in the right direction. Unfortunately, legally, we're not able to directly give you advice on travel insurance on what you can and cannot book, but we do have an affiliate we work with, and we can definitely help you kind of find the right person to talk to in that situation. But something I always encourage for all of our trips, just with so many thises and that's in the world these days.
And then can I piggyback on that
Please.
by saying, with whenever I do trips, and I'll do this for this as well, we do meet the people beforehand. If you're going to be like, for example, Amy signs up and is rooming with Stephanie, we usually do either a meet and greet in person, or if we have a lot of people who don't live in Oakland, we'll do like a meet and greet on Zoom, so people can have a chance to like meet their roommate and like chit chat with them a little bit. And in doing trips since 2015, like the roommate thing has never been an issue. It's always been a really lovely, like-minded opportunity to meet a like-minded person. So if you're like a little nervous about that, like, oh, I'm worried about signing up, we're all yogis and we're all in the same community. So we've had like much more positive effects from the putting together of roommates than like negative effects. So
thank you so much for that. Is actually the perfect transition for my kind of some point, and then I'll go to questions. Is obviously I just talked about a lot of tourism things that you'll be doing. The real purpose of this trip, and the amazing part about it, is that you'll just be traveling with Rachel, and also just people with like-minded, like she said, like-minded community. I can't tell you the amount of just special connections I've seen formed on trips like this, regardless of the destination. I've been fortunate enough myself to travel a lot, and I've always found it really isn't the place, it's the people that you're with. Those are the memories that you form and the kind of connections that you're able to build. So my little toot of the horn and why I like my job, I'm so happy that I'm able to facilitate things like this, because it really is the community aspect that creates those memories that really just last. And I'm just super happy to get you all over to Peru, and you know, we'll be able to help every step of the way, whether it's Rachel, myself, or our travel concierge. But yeah, any other questions right now, either in the chat or feel free to speak up. No worries if not.
I'm sorry I was late, so I
No
missed the
worries.
first part of the
Mhm.
itinerary. Where's the link that I can look through this?
Sure. It is in the chat right now. If you can see it, it should still be there. I'll put it in again. And then also I saw on Rachel's email signature, she has a link to it. Also on her own website, she can link to it. But let me put it in the chat again. Let me click out of this.
I got it, because I think if you joined after you had linked it before, it might not
No
show up.
worries.
But I stuck it in there again, so we should be
Yep,
good.
there it is. That is all the details for you, Katya. Is it Katya? Sorry if I mispronounced.
Thank
Perfect.
you. Appreciate
Yes,
that.
of course. And I'll say for Katya and for everyone here and anyone at home that will be watching, it's travel. There's always going to be a million questions. You might have heard me say something and forgot it. Please don't hesitate to reach out to our travel concierge. They'll be happy to answer any of the specific questions we have. That is the phone number here at the top. If they're on another call and you can't get through, just leave a voicemail. They'll give you a call back, and then we'll also send over their email as well, which I'll put in the chat for anyone that wants it right now. care@IamFit4travel.com, and we'll make sure we get that out to everybody as questions kind of arise. And then you'll see, as soon as we get to the point where we're starting to book flights, getting people kind of excited, our team will be reaching out directly to you, email, phone call, text message, really whatever is your preferred way of communicating, and making sure that you feel, safe and secure and understand each step of the process. And then there's the last thing about the payment I was talking about. So like I said, you'll have this deposit amount of $500 that is due no later than April 5th. April 5th is our cutoff date for getting people signed up on this trip. And then your final payment will be on July 5th, with that middle payment being in between, basically halfway through. And if you need to set up a payment plan, breaking it up anymore, like I said, not a problem at all. But yeah, I'm super excited. I would highly encourage, take advantage of this 250 off and do it before February. Give yourself something to look forward to come this fall. A really incredible place to be, and you'll be able to connect with the guide, with the culture there, and then also the community that you guys have, that Rachel's been able to build herself, doing yoga most days, having breakfast, and then, exploring ancient ruins and ancient cities. It's a beautiful time. Rachel, you have anything else or any other questions from anybody?
I was just going to say I'm excited about the craft marketplace personally. Might have to bring an actual checked bag rather than a carry-on like I always do to bring
Say
home.
the empty suitcase. Yeah, right. Then you're loaded up with what it's doing. That's great.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I have one quick question.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Please.
this might be more for you, Rachel. But what is the total number of people
For this trip?
capacity-wise for this trip? Yeah.
We will need 10 for it to move forward by April 5th. So we're looking at hopefully maybe a little more than 10.
Okay. Is there a cap?
I don't know,
So,
Matt, what would the cap
yeah.
be?
We have rooms reserved. Obviously, it'll come down to whether they're single or double bookings. I would say, 15 to 18 is usually pretty easy for us with some singles and some doubles. If we get to a point where we're sold out, we have a wait list process where basically if we're sold out, you just join the wait list. We reach out to the hotels if they still have space and capacity. All good, we can get you signed up. If they don't, then we'll keep you on the wait list. And if a cancellation comes through, we'll be reaching out and seeing if you're still wanting to go. But I think realistically that 15 number is definitely a solid place to be at, a minimum of 10. And we can go bigger than that. It'll just depend, on hotel availability.
Okay, sounds good. And then are there a number of folks who've already committed? Just trying to figure out how big the group is or might be.
Yeah, there are definitely some bookings that we've had coming through. I think Rachel, last time we said there was about 5 that have come through already. So we're doing good. And the people are on track, and really it's going to be, nothing too big where it's a crazy 60-person tour group and the little person with the flag walking around the cities. It's not going to be anything like that. It'll still be an intimate.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a small, intimate group. Definitely 10, I think 10 to 15. Usually what happens is everyone waits till the early bird deadline and then they sign up. So if you want to reach out to me like the day after that closes, which will be around February, I'll have a better idea.
Yeah, no, this is perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Random question. What is the elevation in Cusco and how does that impact yoga practice on day 1 or 2?
Yeah, I know that you missed the beginning there. I can look up the specific elevation, but really, I was saying one of the nice things about this itinerary is that you're going to land in Cusco, and then we're going to take a transfer into the Sacred Valley, which is a bit further away and deeper into Peru. Obviously, the valley being a valley, it's still in the mountains. This is to help you acclimate to the altitude there. And then as we're exploring Sacred Valley, there's a few days there before we do Machu Picchu, which will be one of the higher places that will be, and then going back down into Cusco, which is still more elevated than the Sacred Valley, but a little less than Machu Picchu. We have not had any issues. I had a group that went from Florida, from literally sea level. If you're in the Bay Area, obviously it's already a bit higher than where that would be. But we haven't had any issues with anything like that, and there's definitely precautions that we take along the whole way. And you'll have like I said, an English speaking guide with you that'll be able to really monitor and make sure everyone's feeling healthy and safe the whole time that they're there. But the idea with this itinerary is really get you acclimated in one of the lower parts and then just ease up, each day and things like that.
So interestingly, the Sacred Valley is around 9,000 and then Cusco is up at 11,000. But Machu Picchu is actually lower than Cusco and the Sacred Valley at 8,000, which I didn't think because you always see it as higher up. So we'll be in the 9,000 feet elevation for the first 3 days, and then we'll go to Machu Picchu down to 8,000 and then back up to Cusco at 11,000 for the last couple of days.
Yeah, thank you for that. The thing with Machu Picchu too is that you're actually, you're going up when you're on it. So the elevation we've had, with our partners in Peru, they designed it this way so that you acclimate, and then when you're doing your day, really kind of hiking and walking around there, it can feel a little bit more because you're doing activity, but now you've acclimated for a few days. But thank you for looking that up. I was about to do it myself.
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome. Anything else? Anybody right now? Look how colorful those people are. I love all the colors of the people that are there.
And Katja will send you this recording too, so you can go back and watch that beginning part again.
Thank you so much. And I'm sorry to make you read.
No problem. No problem at all. Definitely a good thing to be concerned about.
All right, who's ready to go? I wish it was like sooner than October. Like I'm excited now.
Already ready, daydreaming about the vacation.
Definitely ready.
Oh man. Well, thank you all so much. Appreciate you attending, and the other questions are great. We'll make sure we get this recording out to everybody, and the contact information for our travel concierge, just send that over via email as well. They'll really be able to help any of your questions. Did I see a chat pop up?
Amy says she's ready.
Oh, there we go. I love it.
Nice.
Me saying I'm ready.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful night. And yeah, reach out to me as you peruse Peru, right?
I love it.
soon.
Thank you all so much.
Good night.
Thank you.